Is the liturgy at your parish destroying the future of Catholicism? Are you at all concerned with what the confusion in this world today, secularism, hedonism, utopianism, is doing to the Church of tomorrow? Welcome, I'm Brad Shapizi. In this video, we're asking the question, is the liturgy at your parish destroying the future of Catholicism? Make sure to share your thoughts below. I read each and every comment. What if I came to Mass at your parish this Sunday? Now, you know me, I'm a little biased when it comes to traditionalism in the church today, so this video is not intended to stir all of that up, so let's remove me from the equation. What about the next generation of Catholics that are already sitting in the pews in your church? You know, those teenagers who probably 2 years from now you won't see anymore. Just like the teenagers 2 years ago that used to come to your church and now you hardly ever see them. Do you see a cycle here? If you do, you're one of the few, because most people don't notice this trend, or they choose to ignore it, or worse yet, perhaps maybe they're a little complicit in it. But whatever the case, those teenagers who are not coming to your parish, there's a name for that. It's called the future of Catholicism. So let's just say a young man, maybe let's say 16 years old, and this scenario is not simply a thought experiment. This has actually been taking place in our church, in our culture for a number of generations. But anyways, a 16-year-old who, for whatever reason, has been poorly catechized, he comes into your parish and he doesn't quite understand what is happening on the altar in front of him. He doesn't understand that the sacrifice of Christ is present upon the altar, that the heavens are open, the communion of saints is present, that the body, blood, soul, and divinity, that everything that he has ever longed for, the very reason for his existence, is present. Is there, if he just uses his senses, if he just looks and listens to what is happening in the Mass, he listens to the music, he listens to the preaching, he listens to the conversations, is there anything about what is happening that will intrinsically or extrinsically communicate any of that truth to him? I'm going to guess not. I'm going to guess that all of this will just likely slip right by him and that he'll miss all of that. Excuse my pessimism, but follow me here. Even if some enthusiastic, on fire, filled with the Holy Spirit Catholic should come up to him after Mass and attempt to explain to him, while everyone is still singing to the mountains and singing to the seas, that Jesus was truly present upon the altar, with that music playing, is a 16-year-old young man going to take him seriously? As a 16-year-old walking into this parish, it is very likely that he is carrying a burden or he's struggling with something that this culture has dumped on him. And while he was at Mass, did the homily focus this young man onto the cross? Did this homily focus him on sacrifice and virtue? As a young man, as a 16-year-old young man, I'm going to assume that he hasn't developed a mature prayer life yet. And with so much of Catholic spirituality based or dependent upon silence, is this young man going to be able to pray before Mass or during Mass or after Mass? Or is he going to face nonstop distractions from conversations before Mass, after Mass, or even during Mass? Now, this is really important to me because a long time ago, I was that 16-year-old. I was really struggling with a lot of problems. And when I came to Mass, now I take full responsibility for all of the bad choices that I've made in my life. I'm not blaming the church for the bad decisions I've made. But I feel really bad for the young people today who are struggling with this culture, and they come to Mass and they cannot find the reality of our faith because it's buried under layer after layer of things that aren't even Catholic. When I was 16 and I came to Mass, I should have found everything that I needed to rescue me from a sick culture. I mean, sing to the mountains, sing to this. I mean, really, who thought that was a good idea? And please don't justify that. Don't look that up and find out that that is a psalm that was made into a song. If that's the case, that should have never happened. And that was just, for me, in my 16-year-old brain, as illogical as this is, in my 16-year-old brain, that could not compete with the culture. You see, back then we had this thing that was called rock and roll. It's kind of hard to explain. Maybe you should just ask your dad. Some of you guys don't even know what a dad is, but dads were like this guy that lived at your house, kind of like your mom, but like a more masculine, sometimes more masculine version of your mom. But anyways, back to rock and roll. Rock and roll was really cool. It was really intense, and it inspired young people to a lifestyle, a lifestyle that was really, really destructive. But my point is that there was a time when it was the church that was inspiring young people to live lifestyles of self-sacrificing love and virtue. But for whatever reason, it seems as though she has surrendered that dynamic of her mission to the culture. And it's time that we start inspiring our youth again, because they're watching us at Mass. How can we expect them to believe when we act as though we don't? I mean, you can't expect a young man to believe in the true presence of Jesus Christ in the Holy Eucharist while we're singing some of the semi-pantheistic songs that we sing, or we're having conversations with friends in the sanctuary like it's no different from any other place. Young people are looking for something to devote their lives to. Show them explicitly that this is it, in the manner in which you worship Jesus Christ, truly present in the Holy Eucharist. Help me to get this message out. Please pray for our mission, share these videos, and please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link is in the description. I look them in the eye, and I say, I'm Catholic. Oh, how about that? We were Catholic too. Wait, what?